Hello everyone, my name is Lowko and welcome back to another professional match of StarCraft 2. Now, what I got for you today is a Zerg versus Terran on Blue Shift LE. Spawning here in the top right hand corner of the map and playing with the blue Zerg drones. He's from the Ukraine and he goes by the name of Bly. And his opponent spawning in the bottom left hand corner of the map. He's playing with the red Terran SCVs. He's from France. He's actually 16 years old and he's become really good already. We have none other than Clem. So this should be a good one. Both of these players are some of the very best over here in Europe. I've been casting both of them actually over the course of the last couple of years quite regularly. Bly more so than Clem, mostly just because of his age. It's just true that, Clem has only been really participating in a lot of the big online as well as offline events for like a year or so right now. But regardless, it looks like we already have that pool first going down right now for the Zerg player. Relatively uncommon actually, most players do opt to go for the hatchery on the low ground. But because some players, like for example Bly, like going for the pool first, it actually makes it rather tricky for Terran players to commit to that really hyper-aggressive style of, for example, proxying a couple of barracks. We've been seeing this a lot in particular over in Korea. There's been a lot of cheesing there. Players have been putting their buildings, in particular Terran players, they've been putting their buildings all over the map and usually closer to the opponent's main base. And obviously if you go for that pool first, your Zerglings will just simply come out much faster. And you can definitely deal quite a bit of damage with it as well. Look at that, Clem, he fully knows that Bly is capable of going for like proxy hatcheries and all kinds of hyper-aggressive styles. It looks like that won't be the case, but we do already have a group of 4 Zerglings making their way across. And this is actually kind of interesting. You see that path he's taking? Basically what Bly wants to have happen is this Reaper to go through the center of the map, and that's exactly what is going on. We do see a Marine as a follow-up here for Clem, but there's a chance that these 4 Zerglings, which are a relatively small commitment here, can actually delay or maybe even kill the command center right here on the low ground. In the meantime, there's already a queen out, so you can see, even though the hatchery was delayed a little, ooh, look at that. Clem immediately recognizes the spread of the creep there. He's gonna send those units once again back, but there's no denying that this is quite painful right here for the Terran player already. Losing some mining time. Obviously, the command center on the low ground right now is not building, and this really sort of puts the ball in the court of Bly. I like these kind of moves. It's kind of cute. Wasn't a massive delay. You will see weaker Terran players lose a lot of time over these kind of moments. It didn't really happen in this particular match, but sometimes, you know, it's game ending. As a matter of fact, if Clem would have not followed up with a single Marine there before adding on the reactor, that could have been lights out for him right then and there. It's kind of cool. I kind of like those kind of subtle differences in the professional play of StarCraft. A pool first, on paper inefficient, can definitely get you a lot of value if your opponent is cutting a little bit too many corners. Anyway, the Reaper is still going to get a full scout right here. It will recognize what's going on. No quick Roach Warren, no Baneling Nest, nothing weird or nothing out of the ordinary, and I'm sure that Clem is going to be quite happy with that. In the meantime, on the other side of the map, we did see that 1-1-1 started right here for Clem. He's going to be able to go for that 1 barracks, 1 factory, and then 1 starport, and it's really going to allow him to get a variety of units. Curious to see if he's going to go for that Banshee. Reaper eventually does get picked off, and actually a couple Hellions are now making their way across the map as well. Nice micro here by Bly though. Not really losing too much, but he doesn't have a lot of links here. Right? This is actually going to cost a handful of workers. Yeah, that's quite substantial already. For 2 Hellions? 5 drones for 2 Hellions? That's a good deal. That's a very good deal, and there's actually a couple more Hellions coming up there looking to kill some of those weakened workers. Well, would you look at that? Very aggressive style here by our Terran player from France. Bly actually even forced to pull a lot of those drones off the mineral line too, so that means he lost a bunch of mining time there. Nice move there actually by Clem, playing something that is not completely normal here either. Usually Terran players have a tendency to save up their units first, but that was a nice little play by him that really will allow this Terran player to pick up quite a bunch of workers here already. And Clem is gonna continue putting on the pressure. Banshee is now out. It's gonna be phenomenal against pretty much everything that this Zerg player has. I do not see a Spore Crawler just yet, and we do see that Cloaking Field coming up, although this was scouted here by Bly, so I'm assuming he's gonna be able to start up some Overseers or maybe some Spore Crawlers here in just a little bit. There we go. Overseer immediately coming up, but the micro has to be on point. Losing workers at this stage in the game is not what you want to have happen. A couple of Zerglings made their way across. They're once again gonna slow down the building of a command center. So the command center there will be slowed down, but at the same time, the Banshee was indeed forced to go back with just a single kill there. So how many workers have gone down? 11 so far. It's actually very substantial. 10 worker kills here for the Terran player. That's a lot more than I would have anticipated, actually. Really nice, nice play there by Clem, getting a lot of value out of those units. And the thing is, Hellions are nice, and you kind of obviously want to keep them alive if you can. But usually they are not the most important unit, right? You kind of need gas, in particular when you're playing mech, which seems to be the case right here for Clem. You kind of want to switch to units that cost more gas. Ideally, you go mass siege tank, mass Viking, but obviously you left you're left over with a lot of minerals if you play that kind of style. So the Hellions are just sort of there to add them to the mix, just because you need something. And Clem really showing us that he's perfectly capable of playing and calculating those kind of decisions. I really like it. 3 Banshees now too. Very cool style. I like this a lot. You don't usually see 3 Banshees. Usually 2, maybe 1 is the gold standard. I really like this move. Now at the same time, oh my god, did you see that cheeky play there? The Roach is waiting at the watchtower to see if those units were sneaking by. And as soon as they were, they're gonna move forward here to try and see if they can put on some pressure. That does mean, of course, that Clem is going to be able to deal some more damage over here too, kind of depending on how this goes. But the Hellions may very well just be headed back, or at the very least the Banshees may very well be headed back now that they recognize the Roach run by. Queen's already ready with the Roaches here to pick up this Terran aggression. Clem with a little bit of a micro mistake. Looks like he's going to end up losing all of these units. At the same time though, the Banshees have finally made their way back home. Workers are going to go down here, at the very least a couple of them. Nice little bit of mineral walking there by Clem. He's going to be able to, at the very least, save a bunch. And all things considered, 3 workers? That's not bad at all. That's not bad at all. All right, finally, we're starting to see some worker pumping right here from Bly. I like this. It's very important to get some of them. Now he's actually playing heavy Roach when he knows his opponent already has those Banshees out. It's kind of a difficult decision to make, but obviously if you push with the Roaches, it kind of also forces these Banshees to stay at home, and then you can drone up behind it. 4th base should probably be taken here soon. Clem just confirmed indeed that there is no 4th to be seen just yet. And since Clem already has his own 3rd command center up, his economy is looking pretty solid actually. And never mind, there's a 4th base. It's just in the place that you normally would not expect. But I think, at the very least, Bly is going to end up losing this base. And, well, it did get cancelled there at the last second. Once again, Roach is coming from every single angle, just trying to see whatever they can. And obviously killing whatever they can kill. Forcing those units, though, to leave the natural. Picking up a tank here would be a nice kill. There you go. Very nice play here by our Zerg player, but he's not got the biggest economy, right? Only 63 workers here. It's kind of a small amount in the grand scheme of things when you play against Terran mech. So Terran mech is scary, and actually, hold that thought, man. There's a lot of workers going down. Whew. Great target firing there, actually, by Zerg. That's 13 SCVs. That's a lot of SCVs, man. Those poor workers, they were just there tasked with mining minerals, man. What did they ever do to you? But the thing about Terran mech, right, is that when it maxes out, it is absolutely terrifying. The strength of Terran mech is when it is all combined and in that really big clump. That is what Clem is looking for. And obviously, while you do need drones or rather SCVs to mine minerals as well, you're mostly limited by gas. So as long as Clem is mining gas and he's getting himself those mules and he's just simply dropping a bunch of SCVs and he's keeping his opponent back, he's gonna be able to start building up that Terran death ball. And that's probably what he's looking for right now. Banshee's going through the center. Double Thor drop right here in the top left-hand corner. Very strong, of course. With good pickup micro, you can deal a tremendous amount of damage. 4th base has just been secured, but Clem also sending the Banshees in that direction. And at the same time, the Thors have made their way over towards this base. They're actually starting to hit the base as well. Not going after the worker kills or anything along those lines. The Roach is desperately scrambling backwards, but I think the dead base is gonna go down. Beautiful move right there by the French Terran player. Is going to be able to pick up those Thors, get on out of there, continue maybe the harassment inside of that main base as well. Looks like the Banshees in the meantime were deflected by those Queens, but obviously if the Queens are on the 4th base, that means that these Thors are going to be able to go to town for quite a long while. Hydralisk finally will come out, so that's going to give some additional anti-air. Couple of Roaches once more made their way across, but man, while one Thor and I guess the second Thor will end up dying here, as well as those medevacs. All things considered, right, I really like this position right here for the Terran player. Absolutely great play here. Once again, harassing like a champ, man. There's a lot of workers that have gone down so far. One Banshee there too. Almost 40 workers at the 10-minute mark of Zerg versus Terran. This game has been a mess. I like it. That's awesome. A little bit of a worker massacre. This seems to happen a lot in the games that Bly likes to play. He doesn't really play the same style as a lot of other Zerg players do. Continuously harassing with small clumps of units. The thing about Terran mech, right, and the mindset that most Zerg players have when they go up against Terran mech, is since they know that a lot of Terran players will not really move out until they are close to maxing out, Zerg will usually take the cue of seeing Terran going for mech to just simply drone up to like 80 workers and then take 5 bases and just macro up that really big late game army with Vipers and the whole shebang. Instead though, Bly is sitting on a relatively small economy. Well, right now he's at 72 workers, but he's sitting on a relatively small economy, and he's just sitting on roaches and hydralisks, and he's dealing a tremendous amount of damage. 4th base is now finally coming up here as well for the Terran. Still being a nuisance here with those Banshees. Actually, these Banshees have got a lot of kills. That's 9 kills right here on that one Banshee. Once again, beautiful target firing there. Picking up more and more kills, man. Those workers are going down like flies in this game. Eventually, though, the Banshees will also be killed. Clem confirms indeed that there were some Vipers here being a nuisance. You would imagine he already saw that, but he did just scan to confirm exactly what was going on. More bases will not be taken here as well for Zerg, so he's once again throwing a couple of bases out on the map, but it looks like Clem may very well have had enough. He loaded up all of those Hellbats inside of the Medivacs. Beautiful move there, dropping them right on top of the majority of those Hydralisks. Of course, Hydras are light. Hellbats deal bonus damage to light, and in particular with that Blue Flame upgrade. I love that Medivac play, man. That's so sick, right? For the longest time, never did anyone play Medivacs with mech, but you can deal so much damage with this army composition. Great move. Looks like Clem is going to start the slow push rather through the center of the map, getting his siege tanks in a tremendous position. Now the Greater Spire is just about to finish morphing in. There are some Vipers out, but no Corruptors, so no Brute Lords are going to come up just yet. The Blinding Clouds, man, they're going to have to be on point. There we go. 1, 2 solid Blinding Clouds going down. That's going to, at the very least, allow Zerg to kill some of those Terran units. The question is it going to be enough? At the same time, a couple of Hellbats made their way towards that base once more as well, picking up more and more kills. And I think that for the time being, Bly has sort of stabilized, but he's still sitting on Roach Ravager, man. Roach Ravager Viper is obviously good, but I'm still a little worried about this unit composition. 14 drones there, man. Oh my god, this has been a worker massacre. So many workers going down. This game has become really messy. Well, looks like Clem is not giving up on this aggression just yet. I don't know if it's a smart choice. Medivacs eventually look like they will go down, or at the very least some of these Vikings are taking a lot of damage. At some point, Bly is going to have to jump this, right? 4th base has since been secured here by Clem. A couple of roaches, of course, ready there for the run by. I don't even know how he snuck those out, but obviously he's doing that because that's how Bly likes to play. Once again, the Blinding Clouds have to be on point. These siege tanks are dealing a lot of damage. Oh my god, that's a juicy hit there. And I think that Bly, because those siege tanks are so clumped up, is going to eventually be able to bile all of those units down. In the meantime, 4th Command Center did not morph into a planetary fortress just yet. We see one roach trying to pick up whatever it can. Apparently one supply depot has already burnt down to its acid. 10 SCVs though go down in the process. Oh my god, we're getting close to like 100 worker kills here. I'm liking this, man. This game has been an absolute mess. Usually you see like 10 worker kills, maybe 20. Maybe in the late game you see a lot of workers go down, right? Because people are starting to lose bases and we can see who's going to become the victor. But I have no clue who's actually ahead here, and both players are taking heavy losses. An eye for an eye. Whew, alright. Alright. What I would like Clem to do is move the starport out of the middle line. But what I would like him to do is just simply sit back and macro up that really scary army. Bly has been sitting on Roach Ravager for the majority of this game, and his economy is still not that great. I almost feel like you need to start adding on some more units. I think that Clem should just sit back, make a lot of siege tanks, make a bunch of Thors, make a bunch of Vikings, and really start building up that Terran death ball. And while he got to that point, kind of, I think he's sort of overcommitted here near the center. Those blinding clouds were obviously on point, but that was still a close engagement. It's a little bit closer than you want it to be. There we go. +3 weapon attacks right now for Clem. He's got himself 4 base eco, which is really nice. Hellions, of course, still going around. Yeah, go ahead. Kill some workers, man. Just go kill some drones. Sure, who cares? Tons of them went down anyway, so a couple more or less doesn't really matter at the same time. The Roach Ravager Ball, trying to see whatever damage they can deal. Dude, go after the workers, dude. You should kill some workers. My god, that SCV was super low. Why would you not kill the SCV? Instead, one Hellbat there does end up dying. And while Hydras eventually cleaned up those Hellions, 11 more drones ended up going down. I'm waiting to hit 100 worker kills, man. I think Bly could have killed over a grand total of 100 kills there. If, you know, well, at the very least combined, right? If he would have gone after the mineral line. Instead, he wanted to, like, kill units and, you know, slow down the Terran and boring things like that. I kind of wish it was different. Hellbat drops coming up once again. But I don't think these are really meant to deal any damage. There we go. Those Yanks are on point while they still get 2 worker kills. This is starting to become a bit of a meme right now, right? We just see lots and lots of worker kills. I'm actually kind of surprised with the fact that Bly went up to a Greater Spire super quickly and then never actually got any Brute Lords. Still just sitting on these Roaches, man. Roaches, Hydras, Ravagers, that's the name of the game. Liberators are now coming up as well. I like this. Liberators, of course, excellent at killing workers, so that's why I'm a big fan. Clem making his way with, yeah, a couple Hellions once again towards the mineral line. Get some of those drones, dude. Yeah. Get some of those miners. What did they ever do to you? I don't know, man, but workers have been going down left and right for the entirety of the game. Oh, we're getting close, guys. We're getting close to 100. Never do math in YouTube videos, okay? It's one of the rookie mistakes when you first start making videos. Never try to, like, subtractions and, like, you just don't calculate anything. But my judgment says we are getting pretty damn close with just a single worker off to having 100 worker kills. Okay, no more math. No more math, Lowko. It's bad. Oh my god. Get him, Clem. Get him, Clem. You gotta get you 100. Oh, no. Get him. Sacrifice him. Oh, man. Okay, no. Only 99 worker kills for the time being. He did not realize where those drones were located. That must be it. Okay, finally. Look. I'm a big fan of this. Where are they? Where? There we go. The Brute Lords are morphing in, and those Brutes can easily change the tide of battle. Let's have a look at this Terran army. There are a bunch of Vikings out. So that's 4 Vikings. 15 siege tanks and 4 Hellions, man. He's very siege tank heavy. He's gotta be careful, though. You do need to have at least, like, I would say 8 to 10 or so Vikings to deal a decent amount of damage to Brutes. I've actually noticed that Thors are absolutely phenomenal as well. If you get yourself a lot of Thors, they can definitely provide that value that you're looking for. Thors are very good when it comes to picking up the late game Zerg units. Oh my god, I see the 100 kill. Go, go, go. Oh no. Oh no. He doesn't want it to happen. Bly desperately scrambling to keep that. Oh, well, actually, a couple workers went down here in the bottom right-hand corner. So yay, we made it. More than 100 workers have gone down at this point in the game. And I don't think we're done yet, man. The harassment is still going strong. Liberators are flying every direction, and Clem is now finally going up to that really scary army. So this is what I really would have liked him to do, and I think this is the correct call. He's got that 5th base now also secured. This is actually absolutely critical. I'm quite surprised Bly has decided to just sort of let that 5th base go up. Usually, Zerg players try their very best to allow Terran players to have 4 bases, maybe 3, 4. And then, you know, they just sort of pick that army apart until they you know, run out of resources, Terran players, that is. So, if you give them a 5th, obviously that means that they're gonna have a pretty large eco once again. Now, maybe Bly feels comfortable playing that ultra late game army. But I've seen a lot of Terran mech games, man, where Terran manages to max out with the +3/+3/+3 upgrades. Get yourself a lot of those stores. It's very difficult to win, in particular if you're sitting on that low eco. Now, what Bly is doing wonderfully, though, is using the mobility of his army, right? Terran mech, extremely immobile. Look, they're still rolling up, and the planetary is already gone. It's these small hit squads of units that are dealing the damage and that are slowing down the Terran eco. So sure, he allowed a 5th base, but essentially that was now the newly acquired 4th. So I like that move a lot, actually. Bly forcing his opponent to sort of expand away from where that planetary was located, and now that allows him to once more slow down that Terran eco. A lot of Vipers actually here too. 5 additional Vipers coming up. But here's that Terran army. And the question is there enough here for the Zerg to stop this? That's 10 Vikings. They're phenomenal at killing Brute Lords, obviously. He does have to be careful with Parasitic Bomb. Parasitic Bomb can turn the tide of battle very, very quickly. But here we go. Terran is sieged up in a very powerful position. Vipers are now available as well. Blinding Cloud will be thrown right on top of all of those Vikings almost immediately. Beautiful play there by Clem, though, landing the Vikings. And obviously, well, I mean, except for that one guy. Obviously, that immediately allowed him to get rid of the Blinding Cloud. At the same time, though, Hellbats are going to town on the 4th base of Zerg, and Roaches are here for the counterattack. They once more killed 19 SCVs. Dude, the worker kills have been off the charts. Are you kidding me? Another siege tank here will go down. And this is the kind of game that Bly loves to play. I'm a big fan of his playstyle. He loves playing these super weird, scrappy matches. This is not easy, man. It's super hard to make that call, because you know your Terran player, right, is on your front step. Deciding to split off like 20 roaches and going for the counterattack feels very counterintuitive when you have that massive army sitting right here in the center. But apparently he felt comfortable going up to more and more Brute Lords, and I guess he's trying to deal with all of those Vikings just with Parasitic Bombs. Which is not a bad idea. If you get enough Brute Lords, eventually Thors will just simply be overpowered. And Clem is now getting into the scenario where his economy is really not that great anymore. Right? He's lost a lot of workers. Man, that's so many SCVs going down as well, right? 57 SCVs went down. They were just happily mining. What did they ever do to you, Bly? But the worker kills have been tremendous. And obviously, even though Terran has mules, right, I definitely do favor Zerg in those kind of scenarios, because Zerg has a much easier time producing drones once again, and Zerg army can be really cost efficient here as well. If you have a look at the units lost tab, you can see that it's been relatively even, right? Both players are losing a similar amount of resources here. And considering Zerg has been mining just a little bit more than his opponent, I actually do favor Zerg in these kind of scenarios. The thing about Terran mech is that usually it's very cost efficient, so you don't need that really big eco. But in this particular game, Bly has been trading very well with those counterattacks. Clem is done though. He's gonna finally make a bit of a decisive push here towards the bottom right-hand corner of the map. These drones numbers, they're gonna be evacuated immediately. But rather than fighting the main army, once again, Bly is coming up right here for the counterattack instead. Beautiful move here by the Zerg player. Now once more, Terran is forced to roll all the way back. These siege tanks should be able to eventually clean up that base. Blinding Clouds though, and Terran Parasitic Bombs can easily change the tide of battle. That's a stupid amount of damage right there on those Vikings. Brute Lords still just getting rid of as much as they possibly can. More and more SCVs are going down as well, and I think, once again, those blinding, or rather those Parasitic Bombs are providing so much value. Brutes though are taking a lot of damage, and if all of these units are killed, all of a sudden, right, that Roach Ravager Ball may not be that powerful anymore. Still, man, those Vipers are getting so much value. Siege tanks here sieging up in the back. The base in the bottom right-hand corner was denied. Orbital command being repaired by a single SCV, so these players are multitasking like champions. But here are the Zerg reinforcements, right? They're coming up. They're trying to get whatever kill they can. A single hero Viking tasked with killing whatever is left over here in the air, but I think that these Hydras are on the prowl. And now, with those brutes in the air, right, and with the Terran economy basically shattered, I think that we can call this game in favor of Bly right at this point. Still though, Clem is not giving up. He's still got mining bases. I think if Bly would be able to send a couple roaches in that direction, he would be in a phenomenal spot. Right now, there's definitely still a chance for Clem to crawl his way back into the game. But when you're fighting Brute Lords with siege tanks, that's when you know you're in a bit of a peculiar position. Look at the amount of Hydras here guarding these brutes too. You need to get that overwhelming amount, and at this point, the Zerg swarm is gonna have a field day, man. Brute Lords chasing down those siege tanks. This base is definitely gonna take a critical amount of damage as well. Bly manages to kill another base. The only mining command center really right now for Clem is the one over here, and that one is completely unguarded. Siege tanks desperately trying to make their way back towards the rest of the army, but it is too much, and Bly is the one who ends up obtaining the victory. Now, I know we're all thinking it. Can I see how many workers went down? Oh my god. Over 150 workers were killed in this match. That's ridiculous. I haven't really seen a lot of games with that many worker kills. Regardless, I do hope that you enjoyed watching this match. If you did, make sure you hit that like button down below. And if you want to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get a notification as soon as I upload more. A special shout out to the Patreon supporters. Thank you guys so much for all of the love. But for now, I want to thank you for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile, alright? And I will see you once again in the next one.